Hey everyone, I'm back. It took me quite a while to make this video because I was clearing the void and I was kind of testing out different formations on which is more effective, and I had to collect some better clips, but I didn't really collect much as my server doesn't really have much going on right now. So I only managed to got one human battle clip, but it's perfect as it aligns with what I want to talk about later. So for now, the usual battle formation I use now is with two lines of mech squad, as during late game, your front line for mechs actually get cleared pretty easily, especially by human army with Templars, and they can break through your first squad of mech and reach your blasters very easily if you don't have a second squad. Now, for the mech squad on the second line is actually changeable depending on what army you fight against. If you fight against Lich army, for example, you would like to put everything as better mech as the spiders. They are pretty high in poison damage against humanoids. So even if you have Vega for Dwarf army, it wouldn't be enough to heal unless you are a human army with the healers. So I wouldn't depend on Vega for that. I would just put more better mechs, even though it's quite costly. So if you would like to PvP against a high level Lich, you should consider first. Now as for human armies, I would change these lines into engineers or maybe technicians, depending on which one you train or how much slot you have, because they are more in numbers than mech squad, and Templars are pretty large in number with 6 of them. I think so, if I'm not wrong. And their other front line also have a lot of troops, so they can pass through your 5 battle mechs pretty easily even if they are there and touch your blasters. So it's best to use engineers to help soak up all the damage and help protect your blasters against human armies. Now this is one of the void stage, which is around stage 79. I usually use this formation to fight against it, but I can't perfect it yet as it's pretty hard. As for the other stages, I would recommend borrowing troops from your guildmates, as most of my stages from the hinterland onwards are perfected by using the Desperados from the Raccoon army. Desperados are pretty strong as when they drink their ale, they're able to use piercing arrows which will reach the back line of the squishies, like those crossbowmen behind. But it's pretty costly to use as well, but it's a good investment as you can perfect a stage and in future you do not have to fight it again. Now let me show you how this formation works against these kind of armies. As usual, you always start off with fire off. Now you can, during fight, you can pick whether you want to go temporary repair or reload ammunition. When you have enough skill points to add to greens, your ammunition will usually last long enough for you to click it as the third skill instead of clicking it the second skill straight after you fire off. Then usually when you finish these 3 skills, you can cast either Vega's heal or you can cast spray and pray. That's pretty much the standard for every dwarf army on how you utilize it. As you can see, there's 0 losses, as the mech army are now pretty tanky thanks to the recent buff that they have added in, where they slightly increased the HP of mechs, I guess. As for the final stage, I have cleared it, but this time I didn't borrow my guild's Desperados, which are kind of important for me to clear it. I don't really see any other way. There's other ways actually, but the other ways will require you to borrow a lot of blasters from your guildmates, provided they are the same level as you. Human armies borrowing for dwarf aren't really that effective, as they don't really work well with dwarf army. Now, as for the heroes, I've switched them quite a bit. As with the recent buff and the nerfs to the heroes, I've switched the skill where I don't really care about Avalon's skills anymore. I just farm his natural leader, that's all, to utilize his extra space. Now for late game, Avril is still very strong against human army and maybe raccoon armies. For Avril, I focus mainly to build her magic as high as possible and to make sure that her blizzard can freeze and kill the backlines like golden archers and raccoon's desperados. An item that you should really try and get, and it's most probably based on luck, or maybe the shop will appear sometimes, you could invest your Linari in getting it, is this mage cap. where increase Gifted Mage by 1 level, which is very strong. Well, that's pretty much it for her items. It's just pretty much stack as much high A magic items as you can. The next hero I'm talking about is Jacques, which many people have been complaining of how strong he is. And the items I would recommend building on him is mainly this item. The Swift Strike Dagger. Yes, it gives bonus attack speed, so that when he uses spray and pray, his attack speed is even faster, and you don't really have to invest that much point to spray and pray, as you have the extra 30%, making his attack speed to become 90% already. For his other items, it's definitely recommended to craft to Flawless. As you can see, I finally obtained the set item for this from the Void. And for a Flawless stat, it increases quite a lot, which complements into his stamina, which in turn increases his ammo. Which this set also gives 10% more ammo, making him able to be more effective in the battlefield for longer times. For his accessory items, if you are not Dwarven army, it will not be useful for this item. You can put some other item. But for people who play Dwarf like us, we would definitely want Mechanical Core. This item for Flawless Rocket Fitting is interchangeable. It's not really necessary to be placed in him. You can switch it to maybe divine items with higher stats, as his rocket launcher skill seems to be a bit off. Sometimes it doesn't register the damage or it just fly past the enemy. Well, now I will show you the replay of what I've been talking about, the charges of Templars, where it counters Dwarven army for now. Let me look for the replay. It should be some... oh, okay. Now, let me show you the replay now. As you can see, he placed 4 Templars in the back line, 2 of each side. As you can see, my max squad the first squad has been cleared out very quickly. But thanks to the second squad of engineers, they managed to soak up and prevent the Templars from reaching my blasters, and thus letting my blasters clear his army out. Templars are only dangerous for their charge, as they work as to break through your front line and allowing the human army archers to clear out your squishy backlines. So with this strategy, you will not have to worry about your blasters being killed due to your front lines getting killed. Even though it's great to have a lot of damage, now in late game it's better to have more defensive units to last your troops longer in the battlefield, as blaster already have high enough damage to combat against the enemy. All you need to do is ammo reload them at the correct and appropriate timing. And during the battle, it's best to on temporary repair for Gafka. That's why you should invest a lot of your stamina to him, as it in turn increases the healing rate of the temporary repair skill. Ever since they buffed this skill, it's been pretty useful compared to the past, where the healing was close to nothing and wasn't really worth investing in. Well, this is just a short video. That's all for this episode of Formation for Army. Thanks for watching. Bye.